Modern archaeology has taken our knowledge of our earliest ancestors so far back in time that the years between them and us can be measured not in terms of hundreds or even thousands of years, but in tens and hundreds of thousands. The oldest of the stone implements shown here, all found in this part of Hampshire, the Paleolithic hand axe on the right of this picture, is known to have been in use about 250,000 years ago. The axes on the left, with their ground and polished edges, were used for forest clearance, making possible the first permanent settlements in this area, about 3000 BC. When we come to times only a little nearer to our own, the evidence of Bronze Age and Iron Age man confronts us at every turn in northern Hampshire. The round burial mounds at Popham were constructed by Bronze Age flockmasters sometime between 1650 and 1000 BC. Today, the hills which lie beyond Kingsclear form a refuge from the stress and strain of modern life. In the 5th century BC, that is the early Iron Age period, our ancestors who lived in the valleys, where they used handmade pottery and kept cattle and sheep, built a fortified position on Ladle Hill as a refuge in times of intertribal warfare. Coming within the borough boundary of Basinstoke, the Iron Age plateau fort, known as Winkleberry, defended by a single bank and ditch, dates from the same period. This and other isolated relics of early man found in and around the town show how long man had made a home for himself in this town where we live. These cooking pots, which had been used as cremation urns, were found at Campshot Lane and belong to the late Belgic and early Romano-British period. The practice of cremation ended with the spread of Christianity during the Roman occupation. When the Romans came into Hampshire, they found a stronghold already established at Calleva, which we now call Silchester, by a tribe bearing the name of the Atrebates, who themselves had come only recently as refugees out of France. Here, Hampshire's very first new town was built by the Romans, with its streets laid out on the same gridiron plan as is used in New York and other American cities. Its centrally heated houses, its amphitheatre and civic buildings, its enclosing wall, all a tribute to the genius of that industrious race. Excavation has revealed the existence in Silchester of the only known Christian church in England of the Roman occupation. For 5 centuries, Silchester was the seat of local government in North Hampshire. It formed the hub of the Roman road system to the west and southwest from London. The road which ran due south from Silchester forked after a few miles, one branch going to Winchester, and this, as it passes Basinstoke and forms the town's western boundary, still runs as true and straight today as it did 18 centuries ago. The line of the other branch, leading to Chichester, passed through Old Basing. Farms were established in the area of the roads to provide food for the townspeople of Silchester. Remains of one were found in May Street in the last century, while new evidence, such as the Roman tomb found at Winkleberry, is continually coming to light. The time came when the Roman forces withdrew from England. We may never know for certain for how many more years Silchester was a thriving city, nor why it should have been deserted. Today, rabbits keep sentinel watch on the walls, and the streets, shops and houses lie buried beneath the soil. In the churchyards of the medieval church, the sundial, formed from a Roman column, bears the inscription, "Take heed, time flies, Rome perished, so wilt thou." The 6 centuries that were next to pass before the arrival of the Norman army were tumultuous years for Hampshire, but little, if anything, is known of our local history during this long period. The Saxon spearhead, found when the Oakridge estate was being built, is dramatic evidence from the past of the constant struggle for power between rival tribes and successive waves of invaders. The intricate inlay of bronze and copper in the iron shows the craftsmanship of these warriors, for whom death by violent means was a common end. We should never forget, however, that after the reconversion of Hampshire to Christianity in the 7th century, Winchester became not only the head of a diocese much larger than it is today, but a centre of learning famous throughout Christendom. At first, churches were built only in such places as Winchester, and the Christian message was preached in the villages from carved stone crosses set up for this purpose, as this one at Steventon, which can still be seen there now in the village church. The first Saxon invaders who drove the Britons out of Hampshire avoided the Roman settlements, but made clearings and farmed along the river valleys. At some unknown time in history, a tribe who called themselves the Basingas settled here by the river Loddon. The first known reference to the existence of Basinstoke occurs in the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, which records how King Ethelred, Alfred his brother, fought against the army at Basing, and there the Danes obtained the victory. The scene of this unsuccessful battle against the Danish invaders, which was fought round about AD 870, is reputed to be a field to the southeast of the town. The farm of Lickpit near Basing is the reputed burial place of those slain in that battle. Some substance is given to this story by the known fact of the existence of a farm with that name in the next century, when, in AD 946, it was granted by King Edmund the Elder to Ethelnod, his chaplain.